Daniel Sports Central, we go over an NFL game preview and prediction on the divisional round matchup between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Buffalo Bills. Two of the hottest teams in the playoffs going head-to-head in the divisional round. You got the Cincinnati Bengals. This team has got a 9-game winning streak heading into this matchup, and with Joe Burrow under center, this team is very much a Super Bowl contender. They're taking on the Buffalo Bills, a team that is arguably the most complete team in the playoffs. With Josh Allen and this team, and also being at home in this matchup, there's reason to see why this team is definitely able to make a run and definitely one of the favorites to win the Super Bowl this season. This is all the makes of an outstanding matchup. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today, starting with your team trends. The Bengals beat the Baltimore Ravens in the wild card round. 24-17 was the final score. They beat the Ravens in back-to-back weeks, both games in Cincinnati. That is not an easy thing to do, beating a team twice in consecutive weeks. They're 12-4 on the season, 13-4 overall if you count that win over the Ravens. And once again, with a 9-game winning streak heading into this matchup. You got the Bills on the other side. They beat the Miami Dolphins 34-31. That was kind of a scary game there for Buffalo. The Dolphins really hung around in that game and kept it close, and Skylar Thompson led the Dolphins to 31 points in that matchup. And it was close, but the Bills got the win in the end. They are 13-3, 14-3 if you count, once again, that wild card win heading into this matchup, with an 8-game winning streak heading into this matchup. So once again, as I mentioned, these are two of the hottest teams in the playoffs. I mean, the AFC's got 3 hot teams between the Chiefs, Bengals, and Bills, and even the Jaguars are looking really good right now. But, I mean, these two teams in particular really show themselves as big-time Super Bowl contenders. Games be on Sunday, January 22nd in Orchard Park, New York. Buffalo Bills are the home team for this one. 3 p.m. Eastern is the kickoff. And we know that the Bills have got a strong home field advantage. That is definitely something to keep in mind as we head into this matchup. Spread's going with the Bills here by 4.5. So, and that is the opening spread, so that likely will adjust over the course of the week. But currently the Bills are favored by 4.5. Over-under is 50, and the FPI is going with Buffalo as well, 54.8%. So it's expected to be a close matchup here. Series history, Buffalo leads at 17-15. They won the last matchup, but Cincinnati's actually won 3 out of the past 5. Stat comparison, Bengals are 7th in points per game, 5th in points allowed. They're 7th in passers per game, 29th in rush yards. So, I mean, you might think this team is more of a stronger rushing team with Joe Mixon, but surprisingly, he's only put up just over 800 yards on the season and 7 touchdowns. Devin Singletary actually has more yards on the season than Joe Mixon. But Mixon has obviously had a lot of receiving work, and so that is something to keep in mind as well. But, I mean, when you got Joe Burrow, a quarterback who's passed for over 4,400 yards this season, 35 touchdowns, 12 picks, yeah, this is definitely one of the best offenses in the league. But as for Buffalo, they're 2nd in points per game, 3rd in points allowed. They're 5th in passers per game, 8th in rush yards, and then for yards allowed, they're 13th in passing, 4th in rushing. So a strong rush defense here. And honestly, on both sides of the ball, this is just a complete football team. When you got Josh Allen and you got Stephon Diggs, just an outstanding duo there, one of the best in the league. I mean, Josh Allen he's actually had really similar stats to Joe Burrow this season, right around 4,200 or passing yards on the season with 35 touchdowns as well, but does have 2 more picks than Joe Burrow with 14. And Stephon Diggs and Jamar Chase, 2 outstanding receivers. Stephon Diggs has received over 1,400 yards this season and 11 touchdowns. Jamar Chase just over 1,009 touchdowns. So, I mean, this is a game that's got potential to be a shootout here. I will say that much. When you got 2 outstanding offenses like this, 2 phenomenal young quarterbacks, and Joe Burrow and Josh Allen, I mean, this is all the makings to be a high-scoring, outstanding matchup here. Recent matches, Bengals, they beat the Ravens once again in back-to-back weeks, beat them 24-17 in the wild card. What a game that was. The Ravens really gave them a scare and kept the game close, but Bengals came out on top. They beat the Ravens then in Week 18, 27-16. They beat the Patriots 22-18, beat the Buccaneers 34-23, beat the Browns 23-10. And so, yeah, this team has really played well down the stretch. Look at the Bills, more of the same. They beat the Dolphins in the wild card 34-31, beat the Pats 35-23, beat the Bears on the road 35-13, beat Miami 32-29. So they beat the Dolphins twice in 4 games, and they beat the New York Jets 20-12 back in Week 14. These 2 teams were supposed to play in Week 17. They started the game, and then obviously the really concerning events unfolded with Damar Hamlin, and it's truly awesome to see his recovery and where he's at, and he's in a great position right now. And so it's great that we get to see this matchup now, and Obviously, it's outstanding to see how much Damar Hamlin has recovered, and this game was supposed to be in Week 17, and we're going to get to see it here in the divisional round. Key points for this one: Bengals 13-4. Joe Burrow knows how to win big games. He led this team to the Super Bowl last season, and this team was very much a surprise team last year, you could say. And this season, it almost seems normal seeing the Bengals now as the 3 seed in the playoffs, because we know this team is here to stay. When you got Joe Burrow and the amount of talent on this team, Cincinnati is a team that looks to be a contender for many years to come. Both teams really in recent years have been poor and just bad teams. You look at Buffalo and Cincinnati, these are 2 teams very much on the rise right now. I think the Bengals and the Bills are both here to stay and are definitely going to be contenders for years to come. But yeah, you look at 5 years ago for both these teams, very much a different spot. And so yeah, it's awesome seeing how both teams have improved. But for the Bengals, after starting 4-4, they won 9 straight, and this team is definitely a Super Bowl caliber team on both sides of the ball. As for the Bills, this team is arguably the most complete team in the playoffs. I know that the Bengals are an extremely complete team as well. You look at them, they're 5th in points allowed per game this season, so basically 5th in defense, 7th in offense this season. You look at the Bills, they're slightly higher in both areas and statistically. So, you could say the Bills are the most complete team. The Chiefs, probably the best offense, I'd say, in the league, but defensively, the Chiefs have been a bit vulnerable this year. And I think, if you were to rank the top 5 teams in the league right now in the playoffs, obviously you got Bengals, Bills, and Chiefs, probably 3 of the top 4. You got the 49ers probably up there from the NFC, and for all I know, the NFC, that number 5 spot could be anybody. Honestly, could be the Jaguars right now. So, the AFC is just packed with outstanding football teams and 3 of the most complete teams in the league, with the Bengals, Bills, and obviously the Chiefs, who are playing against the Jaguars on Saturday. But yeah, Buffalo coming off of a close win against Miami, but they got the win in the end, which was huge, and they got the home field advantage, which is an important factor. Buffalo is a tough place to play, and this is a huge opportunity for the Buffalo Bills. So that said, let's get the prediction here for the Bengals and the Bills coming up here in the divisional round. This has, once again, all the makings to be simply an outstanding matchup, and in the end, I think we see a higher scoring game. I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills to win this game 34-27. The Bills are my Super Bowl prediction way back from when the bracket was revealed and completed on that Sunday night of Week 18, and I'm sticking with that. I think Buffalo wins this game 34-27. The Bengals are dealing with a few injuries now, and that is something to keep in mind. They still got Joe Burrow, which really makes up for a lot of it, but I do think Buffalo is in a better position here. They're also at home. Josh Allen, I feel like this is, quite honestly, this has a great chance to be the Bills' year. And, the way that they're complete on both sides of the ball, it's not just the offense, it's the defense. I think they find a way to win this game 34-27. That's what they've done all season. They have found a way, and they're going to do so in this game as well. 55% towards the Bills, over-under is 50. I'll be taking the over in this game and Buffalo to cover the spread in the end. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys all watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.